Christine struggled with substance use disorder for 10 years. During the last year of her life, she was sex trafficked. And we were looking for her. In the middle of the evening, I got a call. Dad, I want you to get me out of here. And I want you to take me somewhere where I'll be safe. This has been the hardest thing that I could have ever imagined doing in my life. Losing that one person that I love more than anything, my daughter, and father-daughter relationships are just, I lost that person that meant the most to me. And, when she passed, Christine left over 40 journals, many that I got to see immediately, some that came later. One of her assignments at the end, and Christine battled, just to give you an idea, Christine battled drug addiction for over 10 years. And she was sober for 3 years and actually worked at a recovery center. She went to over 20 centers. She saw it all. She saw medications for addiction treatment. She was on Suboxone. She saw 12 steps, AA, and was sober going that route. But we took her everywhere, and we thought we had learned a lot. But in that moment, you never know. You never know what triggered your loved one to use, especially to use opiates, heroin, and those aren't recreational drugs. And what I learned after she passed, because in the moment it's terrifying for a parent, which is why we're doing this. You literally are in a reactive, not a proactive, not a strategic position to do something. You're listening to people give you data that if they give you, it's not correct. I love both journeys. You can go down and the medication assisted treatment route or the AA route, but that's a choice that a family is going to make spiritually with their doctors and their families, and everybody can choose their route. For us, I just never knew the cause, and I finally started realizing what the cause was through the journals, through research, through asking experts, and it was quite the journey for a year, because it was, here I am as a human being. My position in a public company is to help large companies that are having issues turn them around. Loosely we help save these companies with financial and insurance vehicles. And I couldn't save my own daughter. I mean, I know I'm not God, but I thought we could do this, but we never got to the root cause. And this is what this movie is about. It explores the human condition from joy, fulfillment to not having faith and disruption or things that happen. But we get to the root cause. And in my daughter's situation, and as in many, it's trauma. She had birth trauma, and then she had significant divorce trauma. She unfortunately went through a divorce being just 3 or 4 years old for 3 years. And it was traumatic on her and my son, and probably their mother and me as well.
And did you know that any of this was going on?
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew there was issues in middle school. If you look at the film, it's pretty linear, 1 second at a time, about what we went through. I'm thinking as a dad, she's going through the girl stuff, and the person, the outbursts, the over emotional, and not and frustrated because I wanted to know why, and here she was going to psychiatrist after psychiatrist and more medications, for depression and anxiety, and she's only in middle school. And then when she got to high school, the whole time she was playing soccer, she had really good friends, and went to a private school from elementary school through high school, and competed in soccer at the high school, and competed also on a competitive travel team. So in high school, we knew that she graduated from. She didn't really drink a lot, but she started drinking early, and pot. And then her senior years, when I realized it had graduated to opiates.
And so from there, what did this morph into?
It morphed into intervention. It morphed into, she started dating the wrong people, and we intervened, her mom and I, and that was the beginning of many treatment centers, and the frustration of them, there are some good ones, and there's, a lot not so good ones, and then kind of the film helps in what a good one looks like, and what, not the so good, not the such good ones look like. But for us, it was frustrating. You're in that moment, you got to make a decision, you're hiring consultants, and you're only as good as all the information that we provide. But at the end of the day, my daughter was there holding, and trying probably to protect everybody, not wanting to hurt maybe her mom, her dad, her brother, everybody, and what was going on inside of her.
You lost her for a while but there was a period of time where you literally didn't know where she was.
After her relapse, when her life was beautiful, she was engaged, she had a home, she had a car, she had her dream job in a recovery center, and she relapsed and lost it all. And we had to put her under a Marshman Act, which it's a non-voluntary way of telling somebody they need treatment or they go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's one it's in Florida. And she was okay with it. She did 4 months in treatment during a tough time during COVID. So it doesn't allow that ability to have that human connection that we all need, right? But 2 days out, she ends up calling a bad influence, and they take her to, I'll just leave it at a bad place. They call them drug facilitate sex trafficking rings, where they get young people that want to use to, unfortunately, it was a horrible place.
Now you lost her for a while. She was in human trafficking. Was there any point where you spoke to her, or?
Yeah, she was gone a couple of days, and she called me in the middle of one night. Didn't know it was her. It was a number I didn't recognize, and basically told me that she was under the influence, and told me, and I am, honey, where are you? So your mom and I can pick you up. Where are you? We're worried. And at that point, she'd been gone 3-4 days, and we're looking for her. Police are looking, detectives. We got it all over Facebook and social media. And she goes, Dad, would you take me to the fairy pools? And I'm like, honey, what are you talking about? Isle of Skye, Dad, in Scotland. The fairy pools are beautiful, Dad. I'll be safe there. Will you take me there? And I can't put my phone down and Google this, and I'm realizing, I go, honey, where are you so I can get you? And she goes, Dad, that's where I want to go with you. You make me a promise when I get good, when I get healthy again, that you will take me there, so we'll both be safe. And I'm like, of course, honey, but where are you? And then click, my heart breaks again. So I called her mom the next day, because it was 2-3 in the morning, first thing in the morning, and we end up finding her. Her brother did an amazing job at finding her online, kind of putting 2 and 2 together, and somebody coming forward with information. And make a long story short, we went down there and got her at this place.
Wow.
Which was not an easy thing to do.
And from there, what happened? Did you take her somewhere?
Yeah, thank you, Nancy, for asking. We decided, whether it was good or bad or indifferent, that she'd be safer outside Florida, out of the environment here, for a lot of different reasons. And it made sense at the time. And we took her to Knoxville, Tennessee, where her mom's family has, her brother lives there, and her mom's got family there, her aunts. So, and from there, it was just like any family. There was a difference of opinions on all the things. The professionals wanted her to be institutionalized. I wanted a methadone clinic. Her mom wanted, something that was co-occurring, and we were all wanting my daughter really just to embrace one. And but the frustrating thing here is, everybody's got to be on the same page, and it's difficult at every moment in time. So I shared a lot of the mistakes I made along the way, enabling, codependent, denial in the early stages that there was anything that wrong with my daughter, and not understanding the root causes. And we were fortunate that she left all these journals behind, where she kind of laid it out to me. A year after she passed, her mom gave me her eulogy assignment that she did at a local treatment facility. She was at numerous times, and that's really where she got sober the first time. And it basically said, it was 12 pages. It was beautiful. And she said, I don't want to be defined by my disease. I want to be remembered for helping others with it. And I'm going to make a cause of it. And I wasn't ready to that. And I think my ex-wife was giving me that olive branch to proceed. And it was, like I said, it was a rough trip to, make that connection with Tim and trust him on this journey together, where it could be cathartic and healing for me to share this with others, so I can help others, because that's what I knew my daughter's legacy was, and it's become my purpose. And the only way I got through this was by letting go. And I find the tragedy in this is that most of us wait for a tragedy to really let go and give it to God. And this is very much a faith-based story. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't let go. I would probably be in a very bad place. And we share that in the film as well.
So how has your faith sustained you through this?
Every time I have a tough day, I really give it to him. It's his plan, it's his will. So for me, people ask me all these questions and I'm like, I'm okay. I wait for him to kind of share with Tim and I what we do next. It's like this film we're sharing with distributors, and we'll see what God wants us to do with it. And I think it unfolds. We're patient to it. And the premiere did great here in Tampa. We did this wonderful thing at my alma mater, Florida State, where after Christine passed, it was the right time for me to step up and help build this unbelievable recovery center there. And we shot a mini documentary about that. So we actually shot 2 films, a premiere film, which is 80 minutes, and this 15-minute mini documentary about college recovery. And it's called Safety Net, helping college students in recovery thrive. And it was kind of a showcase of what we did at FSU. And I'm so proud. We went from a couple students to over 1,150 engagements with students at Florida State University. We have 4 that remain in recovery because, some graduate, some leave, some go into recovery elsewhere. But we've got, 40 kids that stick in recovery at any point in time. And we have dedicated space. We have dedicated programming activities. We have dedicated people. Everybody involved in this has got, this is Providence in all this meeting, and we all have that why together. So it was my daughter's legacy and my desire to really connect with these people there that can make a difference, and we did that.
I would never have thought what I witnessed and what I know now was a reality. The most beautiful thing in the world and the most hellish journey. I have so many regrets. My daughter was crying for help. I had no clue how to help her. And every father wants to do what's best for their kids. We want to shield them from pain. We want to protect them. I didn't realize we were dealing with a monster. This is a story about a monster who killed my daughter. It was about something way too big for me, for her, and for all of us. Something that was the most devastating thing that could ever happen to me and our family. And the sad thing is, I'm not alone. Everyone knows a loved one or has a friend who's afflicted by this disease. I hope through Christine's story, I can help you and others battling this horrible disease. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a tough battle that many can't survive. But there is hope from the darkness. And it's time we fight back together.
There's so many people out there that are struggling right now with a child or a family member that might be going through this. And I see that God has really helped you and given you a rock and provided people to you to help tell this story. So how would the audience find out more information about what you're doing or to get help through your website or wherever else they may need to go?
I think our website's a good place because it provides links to all the resources. It's all the sites that I would go to or the sites that I learned were good after Christine passed. So it's a great we have a resource area where, if you're in need, if it's 911 call, you need to make a 911 call. If you're trying to research all the sites, we provide all the sites a parent would want. SAMHSA, NIDA, Betty Ford, we link to everything. So the other thing as a parent is I would make sure that everybody's on the same page and everybody's hopefully on, the healthiest version of themselves. And that's easily said, but so difficult. What you'll see in our film and you'll see in our journey was that my ex-wife would be healthy and I was not. I was in denial, or we were never. So the child or the adult child, they manipulate. And it was easy for my daughter to manipulate me. So, I just took the grenade here and had to share what are the things that I would have done different and the things that I did wrong. And we have two experts that we handpicked. One that's really high end in the 12-step community, Robin Piper, that runs a real high end 12-step facility that's abstinence and faith-based. And that's where Christine got sober. She's on our board and she sits on the board of the National Association of Addiction Treatment Providers. And then this great addiction psychiatrist who does grant research and has a big practice and is the medical director of a large methadone and Suboxone medication assisted treatment facility. So we're not picking a side. Like I said, everybody's journey is different, but we wanted experts to kind of dive in and share their thoughts, so this movie isn't just about addiction. It's about mental health. It's about trauma. It's about the insanity of this family disease that once a loved one falls into this disease, we quickly can go down that rabbit hole. So I pray for a parent going down that rabbit hole, or your partner has it, for you to do the best job you can at getting self-care, which is not what I did. I thought I could handle it. It ate me up. It spewed me out. I didn't do the self-care, which is going to Al-Anon, being vulnerable with your therapist. In my daughter's last year and a half, I went to a faith-based therapist. So it made all the difference in the world. I did the work, and knowing that I finally understood the gravity of it, that I may lose my daughter. So the last year and a half of her life, I knew that. The last year of her life, I really knew that. It kept escalating from DEFCON 2 to 3 to 4, and at the end it was 5. And unfortunately, she got to a place where she felt hopeless, and I don't want that for anybody. And that comes, and you'll hear from the experts, from re-traumatizing yourself with this disease. She saw so many things that no child of God should see. She saw some of her best friends die an overdose. She witnessed horrific events on herself and others. Nobody should see that. So there's an evil to this, and that's why Tim did an amazing job at using the metaphor of drowning, but calling it, battling the monster of addiction. Sometimes it's way bigger than ourselves. And we wanted to make everybody feel they're not alone, that we're all connected, and that's what we need. We need understanding and compassion, and love. And there's a part of it where I shared at the beginning, where when I'd see homeless people, because I've worked hard, I'd say, get a job. And now when I see that, I have compassion and my heart opens up, because that's somebody who is a mother or a father, or could be a doctor or a lawyer, and they probably had a major negative or traumatic event in their life. So I'm vulnerable to stuff that, Nancy, in no uncertain terms, my daughter has saved my life. And if you looked at these journals, even as she was fighting at the end, she left me a journal: Dad, I love you more than anything. So I hold you, good or bad, more accountable than anybody. And it was tough. It was tough to read some of these. Some of these were beautiful and some of these were tough. But what she'd share was how easy it was to manipulate me, and how hard it was at times because of our disease I had to build a wall of protection, and we have to do our self-care so we can connect with them and be able to be supportive and not contribute to the madness. And that's kind of the pedals, the brake pedals and the gas pedals that we need to survive. I think she saw so much evil that she just gave up on herself. But she was doing, to the day she passed, she was still sharing her love and her story with others. So the film shares here at the end of her life, she's kind of given up on herself, but she's still helping others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She wasn't seeing the beauty because she didn't think she was worthy of God's love anymore. Mm-hmm. And we all knew how worthy of it. And the simple thing of just asking God for forgiveness and not carrying that guilt and that shame and that ugliness, that he can forgive you. And this was redemptive for me. There's a couple interviews where people go, you don't blame yourself. And of course I do. There's things that I would do different now. I mean, was I directly involved? No, but was I indirectly in decisions that I made, to work hard, to not be there, to miss something, to not understand? Now, my God, did I know? No, but I want to share my story to help others. So I think there's a redemption part of this that absolutely, I wasn't perfect. I made a whole lot of mistakes. I'm human. So I think we tried to share all the things that we as parents may do. We want to maybe deny or not look in the mirror. And this is just an opportunity to be the best version of yourself so we can protect our children.
When you are weary, when you feel alone, when there's nowhere to turn to Jesus. And he says in Matthew 11:28-29, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Psalm 30, verse 2. Lord my God, I called to you for help, and you healed me. You can have assurance that Jesus knows what you're going through. Call to Jesus. He's only one prayer away. Do you listen to the call of God? Because God speaks to you every day. Are you listening to the call?